everybody, welcome to another great episode of Live on Purpose. Today we are all the way in Detroit at the Detroit Threat Management Center with Commander Brown. That's right, we're going to have a great episode today, so sit back, relax, get your glass of wine, and I don't know, let's stop the threat.
So this facility is specifically designed to help people understand how to manage threats without panicking while you're climbing through obstacles, climbing over obstacles, walking across different types of drill stations. You're learning how to trust yourself, how to believe in yourself, and how not to feel fear in general, or let the fear cause you to make decisions that you shouldn't be making.
Hey everybody, we are live on Purpose with Commander Brown here in Detroit at the Detroit Threat Management Center. How are you?
Excellent. It's great to be here.
Great. Listen, I'm glad that you allowed us to come to your facility. So far we've seen a lot of great things and I just want to dig right into it. So how did you get to here? What was the road to the Threat Management Center?
Well, I started off in 1994 with a dog and a rifle. And what I started out doing at that time was helping families that are on the east side of Detroit.
Okay.
I initially started here in Detroit teaching people self-defense in the streets, in the parks here. I didn't have any money, so I would teach them at local parks, and I would teach just my system of self-defense, which my system first just dealt with how to use a knife, how to use a pistol, a shotgun, a rifle, how to fight standing up, how to fight on the ground, and how to do that legally.
Okay.
So my system, which made my system different than any other kind of training system or martial art, would be that an actual threat continuum was a part of my programs. In other words, legally, how would I use a knife? How would I use a pistol, a shotgun, a rifle? How would I legally defend myself? And so law was taught with self-defense.
Good.
So it was the first time that and then I took a lot of different martial arts courses growing up.
Right.
No one ever talked about law. But of course, if you defend yourself, the first thing that's going to happen is police are going to arrive and there's going to be some laws that have taken place, civil and criminal.
Okay.
So what I did with my schools, I thought, wouldn't it be great if you knew law already? I was a private investigator when I got out of the military. I was an airborne paratrooper.
Okay.
And when I, as a private investigator, I learned a lot about law and how it's applied. Not law as in just written down law, but what happens when police are at the scene? How do they process the situation? How do the police officers process it? How do the detectives? How does the prosecutor look at it? How does the judge? How does the jury look at things? And then I decided to create a system that incorporated those things. Okay. And so I came to Detroit because I have family. I grew up in Ann Arbor, which is a college town here outside Detroit, and I have family here. My family was the first African American family to own a privately owned hospital here in Detroit. My great grandparents were both doctors. They started the first African American hospital here, privately owned. There was a state owned hospital as well, the state sponsored, and my great grandmother was the first African American female licensed doctor in the state of Michigan. Wow. My mother's a doctor, my grandfather, my little sister. So I come from a family of doctors. Okay. In my family, college is your entry into your evolution in life. So I didn't go to college. What I did was I went to the streets of hard knocks, and I learned everything I've learned through the streets, through creating a positive outcome. And when I teach kids, is I teach about excellence. I don't teach about going to college necessarily, because that may not be the path you're on. Right. And personally, I don't teach anything that deals with anything you don't already have. Okay. And that's my message, that what I've done here is I've created from myself whatever's necessary in order to achieve success. Right. And the way I did that was by focusing on how to create positive outcomes. Okay. And so I started in 1984 with family defense because I lived in the east side of Detroit, where it was very rough. And the law enforcement community has decided that its only sole purpose when dealing with African Americans, 99% focus is on prosecution, not on protection.
You know what?
That's the problem.
When we come back, I want to talk more about how you figure what's going on in society right now. Obviously, it's quite obvious what's going on, and how you feel your tactical training, your threat management training will be, kind of the savior to what's going on right now in our community. We'll be back in just a second. Stay tuned, guys, as we talk more to Commander Brown.
Get our vehicles in order. that they're ready for deployment throughout the week. So here we make sure the vehicles are working, all inventory, all the equipment, in order to make sure that everything's ready for deployments. Everybody's ready to protect people. These are the vehicles we use primarily. We have other vehicles as well. We have Hummers.
Hey everybody, Live on Purpose is back, and we are all the way in the D with Commander Brown here at the Threat Management Center. We've been talking a lot about what got him started with the threat management system or a center, and now we want to talk more about how can we apply this across the board in America today. So first of all, who is your target audience? Who should be taking your classes and understanding these tactical methods?
First of all, we're several entities. So first, we're a school. So we teach self-defense, and we teach how to manage threats to both the private sector as well as government employees, police officers as well as civilians. And what we do especially is in our system that's unique is we teach people how to manage threats by preventing predation. By creating conditions where violence does not occur. We deny the opportunity for violence to occur, and therefore we don't have violent conditions. So we protect communities, corporations, and we create the conditions you're looking for specifically through our training systems. So we actually do this. It's not a theory for us, not speculation. So whether it be hijacking trucks that started in 1998, I stopped all the hijacking of cigarette trucks in our region. I was hired by a company that was a $250 million company. The FBI couldn't stop these hijackings. The state police, the ATF, they all got involved because cigarettes are a controlled substance. My company was hired in 1998. Since that day, that company has never lost a dollar, and they have now they're a $300 million company. The hijackings were stopped. When we did nightclubs, which we used to do back in the old days just to afford my schools, we stopped violent gangs and force-on-force conflict by being able to be more successful at violence than they were. In our violence, we're able to dominate them without killing them. So we're able to stop them physically. In other words, they're numerically superior. There's 50 of them and 20, 30 of us. There's 10 of them. There's only 5 of us. We still win over and over again, 7 days a week. And that's where our efficacy got checked. So someone could say to you, I have an idea, but did they check the idea? Did they try it? We're in Detroit, the inner city of Detroit, for 20 plus years. In our 20 plus years, none of us have been killed. 6 of us have been shot. All of our wounded have been transported to level 1 trauma hospitals, mostly by us after we stabilize their wounds. This is Detroit. This is America, the land of the gun. So we study firearms. We study firearms disarms, knife disarms. Our tactics are battle proven. And Detroit thug animals, they are in gangs. They tested us, and they volunteered to kill us for free. And by volunteering to kill us, they gave us better training. So now the training's been tested times thousands of incidents over a 20-year period, 25 years now. So none of us have shot and killed unarmed people. None of us have had court dates. I have no lawsuits. I have not had to go to court to explain anything in the court of law to anyone under any conditions. Because our training system does not allow us to aggress on people who are not aggressive. Even people who are aggressive, we figure out a way to de-escalate them and stop them from continuing. People have tried to kill me. I didn't kill them back. I stopped them without killing them. And my staff has done the same. So this concept that you have to kill people because they try to kill you or threaten you is completely a farce. And we've proven it.
So my question is, because you mentioned earlier that police officers have very little training or training with their teams or partners, why isn't something like this instituted in the police departments? Obviously we need it because I don't think that there's any type of psychological testing or training, because when you get into a situation where your adrenaline is pumping and you're going, like, you just automatically go to something to protect yourself out of fear. So it seems like there should be something like this in police departments to help them de-escalate, learn these tactical training methods.
That's you bring up some very valid points, however, completely off base when it comes to law enforcement. First of all, you're dealing with a group of people that have an opposite purpose of what you think they should be. They're law enforcement officers. That means they enforce laws that have been broken. They can't do anything until after laws have been broken by design. Now, they could choose to say, harass people or help them based on their individual inclination. but their purpose is to enforce laws that have been broken.
Right.
They're a response-based organization.
Okay.
All things that come from good protection require you to be proactive and preemptive and preventive.
Absolutely. Right.
So that's the opposite of what law enforcement is.
Okay.
Then their metrics is based on measurement of violent occurrences or negative outcomes. So you're asking them for arrests. One lady said to me, she said to me when I was driving in her neighborhood, protecting her community, she said, "Hey, I've heard about y'all doing nothing." I said, "What do you mean, ma'am?" She goes, You haven't arrested nobody?" I said, "Really?" I said, "Ma'am, have you heard about anyone in your community being raped, robbed, or killed?" She looked at me for a second. She said, "Wow, I didn't think about it that way." I said, "That's right, ma'am. You didn't think about that because you don't have to.
Right.
Because I stopped the rapes, the robberies, and killings. You were in Detroit. She is on 7 Mile, between 7 Mile and 8 Mile.
Oh, wow.
She's not in the suburbs. She's in Detroit.
Yeah.
People are being raped or killed. 1 block from her, a man was shot 15 times in the morning. Not in her community.
Right.
Not where she lives. We work for her homeowners association.
Okay.
So she has us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on call. As a result, she has a quality of life that does not have crime. When I first started, I started on the east side of Detroit where poor people lived. Extreme poverty.
Right.
And they said, well, this techniques you use, all these strategies, it works there because it's poor people, and it would never work where there's not poor people. I said, our strategies are based on psychology, understanding of how humans think, how predators think. We outthink them. We don't outfight them, we outthink them. We create in them the belief that they cannot win. So one of the examples I use and how I stopped them in the very violent community, which they call Crack Alley. There were 300 calls in 1 square block per month, 400 families, imagine 400 families living in 1 square block, and 10% were thugs. 90% regular families, regular working class people. 10% thugs would make you feel like that's a lot of thugs. So you're talking about 40, 50 gang members in 1 square block, and I lived on that block, and the police would come there, after everybody's been raped, robbed, or killed, take some reports, harass people that were around the area, perhaps. Of course, criminals are gone. They do the crime, they leave. And I went to the building owner. I said, we need to stop these crimes. He said, the building owner said, yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you care about your people. Good luck with that. I said, no, these are your people because they pay you.
Exactly.
You're rich because of them.
Right. He
He goes, yeah, and I'm going to keep staying rich by not caring about them and caring about my money. And I said, it's something wrong with my thinking, because what is it that I'm not saying that he's not understanding? If he has more people, then he's going to get more rent, and he didn't understand that.
Right.
So I said, you know what? He's told me no. Basically, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to fund you. And I said, okay, well, look, this is in 1994. I said, listen, I heard you had a murder every month, and every time you have a murder, people move out. You lost $70,000 in 6 months. Give me 6 months. Give me one free apartment in each building. Give me my apartment for free because I'm about to be evicted because I don't have any money. He was about to evict me, seriously.
Okay.
I was literally about to be homeless. So this is a good thing I came up with this plan.
Yeah.
Because then I want to be homeless. So I said to him, I said, look, I have an office. I need an office to train people in so I can have my own school. So I'm teaching the parks outside anymore. Because teaching outside in Michigan, it's very cold outside.
Right.
So this also gave another plan where I could actually teach inside. He said, okay, fine. I have no idea why you think you can help. Okay? Detroit Police Department has been able to help me for over 30 years. I've owned these buildings. I'm not making a profit because the crime is too high. He said, I'll give you 6 months, but I can't believe that you think you can do something in Detroit and the entire police department couldn't do for me. I said, okay, well, I need a free rent, so I'll, I hope this works because I would hate to be homeless. So I didn't think it was going to work either. Honestly, I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to get killed because, what could one person do?
Right.
The Detroit Police Department couldn't help. These a bunch of cops. They know everything. That's what I thought at the time. And I was like, man, I'm just going to try. At least I die for a good reason. I thought, as a warrior, this is a good death. I will die for the families here. There's thugs everywhere. I mean, there were home invasions every day. Not in Afghanistan, right on the street, right here. Gangs of people come in your home and attack you. And I said, wow, I got a rifle, I got a dog. I'm just going to try to make the best out of it I can. And, I'm sure I'll be killed because these are thugs and there's lots of them. There's no way I'm going to live with Detroit. Then I saw police run. I saw police fail to show up. I saw the police leave.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was dead then. I was like, wow, there's no way I'm going to live. This is Detroit. I'm done. And yeah, so that's not what happened.
But that took you from there all the way there to your success here, to now have this center. But I guess what I want to know from you now is, so why just Detroit? Is there going to be? Do you?
Oh, absolutely,
like there'll be movement?
Absolutely. We're going to be continuing to grow. We have people across this country, even in other countries, that see our success and want to replicate it there.
Okay.
But the way I got it done was by using psychology, not physicality. So when I started on the east side of Detroit, the way that I was able to succeed was by defeating the mindset, not by shooting and killing them with my rifle. So what I did was I told the thugs, I said, listen, the thugs, really went up to talk to them. I said, listen, the police are taking my footage. I had these broken video cameras because I didn't have any money, so they were broken. But we still aimed them at the thugs, the drug dealers, right?
Right.
And so I had some volunteers. I didn't have any money, so I had some volunteers from the community that from the high school. I had them on top of buildings. They had flash cameras. We had plant cameras that flashed on them. The bulb would turn when you push the thing, and then you go like this, and the bulb would turn on top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had no film, because I had any money. So, I was with the thugs. I said, listen, man, just so you know, the cops are taking my footage and looking for people with warrants. So you guys are sitting out in front of the building. I don't know if you guys are drug dealers. You could be just suntanning. Right. So I said, but if you're not suntanning, you might be drug dealers. You might want to not be out front where the families come home and see and feel terror because there's a bunch of thugs sitting in front of their apartment building.
Right.
And they were like, oh, for real? Good looking out, dog. Security cool.
Right.
Right? I was like, they listened to me. And they left.
Right.
They left the front of the building. So when you came home as a family, you look at your building, you're like, wow, this is nice. This is part of a nice apartment building. Right? The thugs all went inside or went out back and they hid. Right? So now it looks nice out front. So now kids aren't scared. Families aren't scared. And how many arrests? None. How many raids? None. How many shootouts? None.
Right.
I put up a poster on the wall. It said, attention to police. Do not, so before entering this building, you must call this number. They are undercover armed security posing as drug dealers.
That is psychology.
All the drug dealers stopped talking to each other.
Right.
They read that. Apparently they can read. Now they always say that drug dealers are illiterate. They're very literate.
Yeah.
They're very smart. They're the smartest people in the room. They read that and they stopped talking to each other. They stopped feeling comfortable, right? Then I got a little situation where the building was wanting to fire me. And that's because I have a video of this, where we pull up, there's like 6 drug dealers that have been on this corner since the 60s. And 2 of them, real big guys, I have a video where I come up and my staff now consists of 2 people and a dog and a rifle. So I'm video recording, we're growing. I got 2 people now. So I got a video of me coming up on a PA system. I said, clear the area, no drug dealing. This is right on East Jefferson. This is across from where the mayor lives.
Okay.
FBI's drive down the street. There's all these families of people in the area, and the drug dealers are right on the corner, openly selling. And what they're doing is they're terrifying the families. The families feel fear. I don't really care about drugs. That's not my thing. That's not what our issue is. We don't get involved in, is there illegal drugs here? Is there not? That is none of my concern. My concern was one thing. When the families go to the laundromat, when they go to the store, do they feel threatened by your presence and your actions? And if they don't feel threatened, then we don't have a problem. Okay. But these guys were threatening. They were aggressive. They were disrespecting the single moms, the old people. They made them feel terror. I don't care about the drugs. I care about the quality of life of the families. So to be clear about that, because whether the guys are making illegal money or not is none of my business.
Right.
But quality of life is everyone's business. The 2 drug dealers stepped forward after I yelled on the PA, clear the area. 6 drug dealers backed up, 2 came forward. I came across the street. As I approached, I took a baton, struck him across his leg. You hear it snap. He grabs me, lifts me off the ground. I'm like, at the time, maybe 230, 240. He's like 300 pounds, lifts me off the ground. I choke him down. I drag him away. My other guy drags the other guy away. The other drug dealers take off running. We drag them, put them in the vehicle, and we disappear and take them away. And that corner stayed clear to this day. That was in 1995. You go there right now, there's no thugs in that corner. The families are happy, the businesses are thriving, and we got known from that day as the body snatchers.
Wow.
For snatching these guys, and no one ever saw them again. And then I showed the video to the owners of the buildings. They flew in. One set came from Florida. They're like, my God, the liability, we have to fire you. You abducted these people and you took them away and you disappeared them. And I said, so let me get this straight. You think that I abduct people, then I film it, and then I show you that I did that.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we're going to fire you. We're going to fire you right now. I said, first of all, you're going to fire someone who abducts people. You should probably do it when you're not in the room with them.
Probably.
That's just very disrespectful. It was very disrespectful to me. Like, if I was a bad guy for real,
right.
you'd be in a lot of trouble right now. Right? I abduct drug dealers. You're a rich man. I'm not going to abduct you too? Anyway, I explained to him I broke no laws. He goes, that's not possible. He saw you beat them and you choked them. And I said, well, those people work for me. Okay. The two big guys were actually... one's a football player at Wayne State University. The other one's a postal worker. They both had long hair. One had braids, and the other one had like a big afro out there. He's like 6'8", big football player. The next day they cut their hair off. This was their first day on our staff, and they had before they actually joined our ranks, they volunteered to be part of this skit.
Okay.
Where they acted like drug dealers for 4 hours. It was very realistic because we actually had cash out there. We acted like they were really drug dealers. And the other drug dealers were real. Those guys were actual, this was their territory.
Right.
So there's a gray area here. Like if we came across the street and the 6 would have rushed us, then the 2 would have been a problem, right? Then 4 of us were 6 real drug dealers, right? Thug dealers. Yeah. And so luckily they were just drug dealers. They just took off running. Instead of thug dealers, right? These are just drug dealers, right? They took off running, and we got known as body snatchers. That's not even, we had no fight. We had no violence, no court dates, because these are actors. The next day their hair was shaved. No one recognized them as the guys from the corner. Right. And so we cleaned up the neighborhood, made it safe for families, and we didn't have to beat anyone. We didn't have to shoot anyone. We didn't have to, none of those things. And this is a place that was considered the worst square block like in Detroit. So as a result of getting rid of all that crime, the police department got all the credit. The police commander got the credit for having a very, very clean community. Wow. Somehow his crime rate went from this to this. A 90% drop in home invasions and murders, and all of it was gone.
For all the other communities out there suffering under the same situation that you found Detroit in when you decided to take this on, there are plenty of men who can stand up and do some similarity, some simulation of what you've done. So what would you say to them?
In order to make a difference in community, the first thing you have to think about is sustainability. So you have to create a sustainable model. What I've done is create a financially sustainable model. Okay? But it's not based on money. It's based on love of humanity. You must love people in order to protect people. People who love cars, they protect those cars. Absolutely. People who don't love their car do not protect their car. It could be a Porsche, Ferrari, doesn't matter. They don't care, they don't care. Right. Same thing goes with people. If you don't care about people, you can't protect them. So what you're looking for are people that are family oriented, people that are community oriented, community activists that want to become an actionist. Right. Not just someone who wants to be against something, but be for something. And what you want to be for is quality of life. Law is what it is. It is good or is not good. It doesn't matter. Civil or criminal law, that's none of your business. But you need to understand it so it's not used against you. Absolutely. Right? But at the same time, what you need to focus on is providing the successful environment you need to run a family, a community, a corporation. You can't have any of those things with violence and with improper treatment of people. So what you want to do is look for people in your community that are interested in that. What we do is train them in our threat management system, which is centered on a philosophy of anti-kill-ism, so anti-kill philosophy. Okay. The kill philosophy, or what I call the kill philosophy that we're under right now, killosophy, is essentially this. You can legally explain lawfully killing people under all conditions, which once you understand how to do that, once you understand how to articulate and test a lie, those are two police terms. Articulation in police terms is called articuli. Okay. Testifying in court is what police call testifying. That's not my term. I learned that from police officers or my students. Wow. And what I teach police officers to do specifically is how not to kill people. So when you go to our website, threatmanagementcenter.com, when you go to our website and you go to police testimonials, you'll see police officers there testifying. This is what I'm most proud of. How the training saved people's lives. Wow. Police officers on there are testifying, and they're taking a chance of getting in trouble because they had no permission to do this. Okay. And they went on my website, and there's even a federal agent up there who testified right on my website that this training would save officers' lives. As a byproduct, that's what it does. But because what it really does is it helps officers save people's lives
right.
through nonviolent interaction. So what we teach essentially is how to be nonviolent.
Okay.
Now, you can say I don't want to be violent,
right.
but how can you not be violent if you have fear, if you think the person's going to stab you or kill you? We show you how to manage that gun, manage that knife. I don't care if they have a gun or knife. I have no fear of that. I'll still talk to them, and if necessary, I'll take their gun or knife from them. It's not necessary for me to have fear of people because they have weapons.
Right.
And so what we do is we teach police officers not to have weapon fear and fear of people, and how to manage that fear, how to manage people. We call it preventive threat management, which is psychology, law, and skill in that order. When you understand psychology and you understand laws, civil and criminal, you can make good tactical decisions.
Okay.
And what we do here is give you the skill set required for you to make peace happen. Not just hope for it, not pray for it, but actually create it.
Okay.
And you can do it through understanding how biomechanics, biopsychology works as it relates to human behavior. Okay. That's how we manage threats, not by hoping and praying and feeling certain ways. That doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you going to do? How do you do it? And who can show you how to do that? And that's what our system does.
Okay.
So, if you have people in your area that want to train, they're more than welcome to come here. We are looking to expand to different communities.
Okay.
Our objective is to be in every community. The overall world objective is to make the world a safer place and to change the way the world sees the use of violence. You don't need to be violent to change human behavior. In fact, the better way is not just spiritually better or politically better. It's tactically better not to have violence.
Absolutely.
And we show you how to do that, how to create a non-adversarial, non-violent outcome. When we deal with violent criminals who are hunting families in our communities, we don't kill them, we don't violate their rights, we don't yell at them, we don't call them names. We talk to them and we communicate with them in a positive way and let them know that they have free bodyguard services in our area. And it turns out people, when they're hunting families, don't really want free bodyguards.
Right.
So they simply stay away from us. We also offer them the ability to give us their identification and get into the good person file. So if the police ever think they're doing something illegal, we can show them the police that they're in the good person file and prove they're good people.
Okay.
And guess what? They don't want to be in the good person file.
No,
they don't want to give ID. They don't want to give ID. They don't want to go anywhere, and they want to get away from people who are asking them to be in the good person file.
Right.
And therefore, we don't have violence, and that they can leave because they didn't do anything. So we actually keep them out of prison. We keep them out of jail. We keep them out of handcuffs by not letting them do something that puts them in jail, that puts them in handcuffs.
Right.
So it's good for every community, and our objective is to train people to do that.
Okay.
So we are looking to open threat management centers in every part of not just our country but other countries. And there are people in other countries that are actually reaching out to us right now.
That's
currently.
Good. What's the website again? So our
Threat Management Center.
Okay.
Threat Management Center.
Okay.
Our phone number is 800-525-3491.
Okay.
We have over 500 videos online. We have been interviewed by foreign media over the past 20 years. We have about 40 stories in the media. 6 of them are from overseas. We just got another documentary, so probably around 10 of them are from overseas.
Okay.
We've been in movies and TV shows from overseas. Lots of people have had interest over the years.
Okay.
And we're looking for any inroads we can to get more people involved in how to learn methods of nonviolent change.
Okay.
And that's done through preventive threat management.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Commander Brown, for inviting us here to your center.
Thanks for coming out.
Another great episode all the way in the D at the Threat Management Center with Commander Brown. I hope you enjoy all of the information he shared with us. And if you want to know more, go to www.threatmanagementcenter.com. Remember to subscribe to Purpose Speaks on YouTube and keep tuning in each and every Saturday. We'll see you again next week with another great show.